On today's episode of Parapros, we're heading to Greenwood Cemetery in Eustis, Florida, a burial ground founded in the late 1800s that has captured the attention of locals for its instances of paranormal activity. Online witness statements from people who have visited the cemetery mention a woman frequently seen weeping over the children's section, strange whispers, and even possession. People who live in the house just beyond the cemetery gates say that they've never seen or heard a thing in the many years that they've sat outside at night. "I live right behind the cemetery for years," says an anonymous poster to hauntedplaces.org. "We used to sit in the backyard at night. Nothing seen or heard. I also walked and ran in there at night, since there was no sidewalks at that point. No activity." Another member who posted by the name of Drew shared his personal capture for the world to see. "Is this better?" he asked. The photo shows what appears to be a heavy-set figure standing behind someone else. In May of 2019, a man by the name of Ian Anselmo called 911 from the cemetery. "I killed my mom. She's dead," he explained. "I strangled her." When police arrived, they found Anselmo's pregnant stepmother, Sue Ellen Kathleen Anselmo, dying in the front seat of a car, bleeding from the nose and mouth with a cord wrapped around her neck. After paramedics transported her to a nearby hospital and resuscitated her, she succumbed to her injuries only a few days later. Officials were never able to get a clear answer out of Ian Anselmo as to why he drove to the cemetery in the first place, or how his stepmother came to be in the car with him. Authorities working the case report Anselmo showing little remorse for the killing, stating, "My dad is going to be very upset with me." Locals wondered what came over Ian to commit such a heinous, horrible act in an otherwise peaceful place. Why here? We may never know. But we were intrigued enough to show up ourselves one evening to discover what we may see, hear, or find.
Alright, so I'm going to turn on my EMF detector, and the purpose of this piece of equipment is to detect electromagnetic frequencies. It's believed that if you're making contact with a spirit, or if the energy of a spirit kind of crosses paths with this device, it should light up and tell us how strong that energy is. So you have a green light, a yellow light, and a red light. The green light means it's pretty weak, yellow means it's pretty strong, and red means that it's very, very strong. So I'm going to turn it on. There we go. You can see it just kind of did like a little blip to confirm that it's on and working. And we're going to head on out. What'd you find? 1881 to 1945 here. On the website for the cemetery, it was listed as a community effort and project, and they said that it's currently in progress. So hopefully as time goes on, this stuff will start to kind of look better as they take care of it. But a lot of these old cemeteries around Florida, there's even some cemeteries here that nobody really takes care of, and you'll see like people taking their own time to clean off the headstones, and so people do care. All right, so we're gonna head now back towards the oldest part of the cemetery with the original headstones, and we're gonna see if anybody out there wants to communicate with us. So we're back now at the oldest part of the cemetery, which is the front, and we have some of the original headstones here. So we're gonna check them out. Still no hits on the EMF just yet. The guy who originally founded this land had bodies moved here to establish it as a cemetery. So some of these people came from other places and were moved here.
They were buried and rested somewhere else and then moved here.
Yeah.
Well, you wonder if their spirits came with their bodies. That's weird, right?
Right. I think we might wind up breaking out the obelisk here in a minute if we don't get any responses. Cemeteries are always really tricky because not everybody who's here or is buried here necessarily quote unquote haunts the location they're buried. So something to consider when you're walking through a cemetery is that you're not always communicating with somebody who's nice or maybe not nice. So it's really random.
And another thing is you don't know who has passed on, if you believe in that, or who has stayed here.
Right.
So most of these people have probably passed on to whatever is next.
That's right.
But I'm not the only one who believes this. There's a lot of other people who believe that, spirits stay here for a reason. There's a lot of unfinished business. Something wasn't finished in their life. They're clinging on. Something's keeping them here that can't move them forward.
Right.
So it's tricky, like you said. You never know. In instances like this, hundreds of dead bodies and
thousands.
people,
There's over 1,000 here.
Over 1,000 here.
Yep.
So over 1,000 buried souls here. More than half are moved on.
Exactly. Just got the word paranormal on here. It said aunt, and before I could turn the camera on, it said send information. Kind. I feel like we do hit pockets of replies here that kind of make sense. If there's anybody here that wants to communicate with us, spirits, hey, that's really good. Video.
No way.
So we have somebody here that's intelligent. Men. That's us. Teacher.
So let's recap. It said video.
It said video, men, spirits, now it says teacher.
Does it want to teach us something?
We come in peace, we don't mean any harm, says yourself. I believe we are talking with an intelligent person. We are very loving people. Loving property.
So it's nice here.
I'm not getting anything bad. Greater. If you're still with me, can you... SATURN, now we're getting a little random here. We're gonna walk this way. If you want to follow us, feel free. I have a device in my hand here. I just got the word hernia. That would be a really bad way to go. Wow, would you look at that? That's a wooden stone. I don't even want to use the word stone. It's not a stone. It's a wooden headstone. I mean, what else can you call it? Gray Spring. Gray Spring. Are you referring to the street we're standing on? Is that like a gray spring? Am I reaching really hard for that one? Wide. We've been here about 45 minutes and I can't say that I felt anything terrible or bad. I don't know. It doesn't feel as bad as everybody makes it out to be here. When you go online, all you read is about people who came here and had these outlandish paranormal stories. Levitation next. Just got that. Pose. Can you see my camera right now? Okay, this is the baby section. Sit. Just got the word sit.
For the dog barking?
It could be for the dog. There is a dog in the background barking. Maybe it said sit to the dog. Entire. So you'll notice on the top of this obelisk there's these kind of orange and red lights that go off. That basically shows the strength of the reply. So if you get one that's all red, it usually means that it's pretty spot on. If you get one that's in the yellow, it means that it's kind of iffy. So take it with a grain of salt. So here we have the baby section of the cemetery, and it looks like people still come out and you can still buy plots here and people still put stuff for their past loved ones, and there sure is a lot of them. Alright, we had somebody show up and they're currently mourning the loss of a loved one, so we're going to go in the other direction and give them some respect. Count. Affair. Huh. If there's anybody here that would like to communicate with me, I have a device in my hand. We're really nice people. We come in peace. Cleansing. Summer. Can you tell me how many of you there are here? How many spirits sent? Dirt. What do you think about this place, Corey?
I just feel like it's a very peaceful place.
It does seem peaceful.
almost like this is a great resting place. I feel like almost everybody here has moved on, and if there's anybody who is here still, I don't see it being malicious.
I feel the same way. Again, going back to the whole cemetery thing, you know, obviously the topic of a cemetery in its own right is already kind of creepy, so, you know, insert the fact that it was built in 1885 and you have kind of the perfect combination to grow paranormal stories, and it can happen. Now, we're not saying that this place is not active, but in the experience that we've had here, we've been here for probably an hour, a little over an hour now. We've seen a few people come and go. We've had some interesting replies. But yeah, you know, maybe we can come back here on another night and do something else, maybe at a different time of day, a different part of the year, and see if the energy manifests easier or not at all. Well guys, thanks for watching our investigation of the Greenwood Cemetery in Eustis, Florida. We didn't capture what we thought, but we did capture some interesting responses. So if you have anything to say about it, we encourage you to please reply in the comments below and give us your opinion. We're going to return to Greenwood Cemetery in the future to hopefully do another investigation during a different part of the year to see if we can get other evidence that wasn't captured the first go around. So stay tuned. It's going to be good.